You know, whether you're waiting for a package to arrive or just walking through a fully stocked grocery store, you're relying on a truck driver. But what happens when there just aren't enough of them? Today, we're going to dive into a really critical problem that, believe it or not, affects every single one of us: the massive truck driver shortage, and how the smartest companies are starting to fight back.
So let's just start with this number: 80,000. That's the estimated shortage of truck drivers we have right now in America alone. It is a huge gap, and it's putting some serious strain on our supply chains. And look, this isn't just some niche industry problem. This is an economy-wide problem.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to get a handle on just how big this problem is in the empty driver's seat. Then, we'll get into the solutions, exploring technology as a teammate and why culture is the co-pilot. And finally, we'll put it all together in building the fleet of tomorrow.
Okay, let's jump right in. Because, to solve any problem, you first have to really understand its true size and what it's actually costing us in the real world. Now, here's what's really eye-opening about this whole thing. That 80,000 driver shortage we have today, well, if we just keep going the way we're going, that number is projected to double to over 160,000 in less than a decade. So yeah, this is not a problem that's just going to fix itself. It's actually getting worse faster.
And this right here, this is the cost of that problem, but on a company-by-company level. It can cost the fleet up to $12,000 just to replace one single driver. I mean, think about that. That's recruiting, it's training, it's lost productivity. For a company with dozens of trucks, this number adds up incredibly fast.
And here's why that cost is just so relentless. For the big fleets, the annual driver turnover rate can be as high as 90%. Just let that sink in. You could have an almost entirely new workforce every single year. And that's the real issue here, right? You can't just hire your way out of a problem like this. The real challenge is you have to solve retention.
So how in the world do you fix retention? Let's get to the solutions. And the first part of the answer, maybe surprisingly, is technology. But it's all about how you use it. It's not about tracking people, it's about supporting them.
And this is a perfect illustration of that shift in thinking. We're not talking about surveillance here. Intelligent GPS? That means smarter routes that cut down on wasted time and actually get drivers home when they're supposed to be. AI dashcams, they protect drivers by proving they weren't at fault in an accident. And seamless electronic logging devices, the ELDs, well, that just means way less frustrating paperwork. Every single one of these things makes a driver's day-to-day life better. This slide really gets to the heart of the matter. The old school view was that a dashcam was a tool for management to, watch and punish the driver. But the smart fleets, they've completely flipped that script. They frame it as a tool for protection, a way to prove a driver's innocence. And that simple shift, from distrust to support, it is an absolute game changer for keeping good people.
But look, technology isn't a magic bullet. It's not enough on its own. The second, and just as critical piece of this puzzle, is culture. If technology is the new teammate, you can think of a positive culture as the co-pilot for the whole journey.
And the fleets with the lowest turnover rates, they all share these same traits. It's not exactly rocket science, but it takes real commitment. We're talking about pay that's clear and easy to understand, management that actually talks to their drivers, genuinely recognizing people for a job well done, and maybe the most important one of all, giving drivers predictable schedules so they can have a life outside of the truck.
And here is a fantastic, concrete example of a winning culture in action. That first 90-day period is when a new driver is most likely to quit. So, what do the successful companies do? They create mentorship programs. They pair a new hire with a seasoned veteran. It builds a sense of community, it provides real support, and it dramatically boosts the odds that that new driver is going to stick around for the long haul.
Okay, so let's bring these two powerful ideas together now. Because the fleets of tomorrow, the ones that are really going to succeed, they aren't just choosing one or the other. They're weaving technology and culture into one single, cohesive strategy. And that's how you win the war for talent.
This changes how you recruit, too. It becomes way less about flashy short-term sign-on bonuses and a lot more about building a reputation that drivers can actually trust. I mean, drivers talk to each other online. They read reviews. So modern recruiting is all about showcasing your tech, your culture, and your quality of life as the real reason someone should come work for you.
And this quote from the source material just says it all perfectly.
The key insight here is that the winning companies don't see a new GPS system and a new mentorship program as separate expenses on a spreadsheet. They see them as two sides of the exact same coin, a single, unified investment in their most valuable asset, their drivers.
Which really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The trucking industry is proving that technology, when you use it thoughtfully, can be a tool for respect, for support, and for retention. It really makes you wonder, if this approach can work here, in an industry facing such a massive people problem, where else could this same idea make a real difference?